This is my 59 reissue Danelectro. I believe I bought this guitar about about somewhere around 2006. I went to Berlin, and there I found one of the older Korean versions, I guess, with a wooden bridge here, and I didn't like the neck. I don't know why, and I was kind of hesitant. And when I came back to Zagreb, I saw these in the shop, and it was just like, which color should I choose? So I chose this kind of blue-green one. So it's been with me for a while, and after some time I decided to like change it up a little bit, and just use it as a painting canvas, and put some stickers on it. This is one of my main stage guitars. I don't use I guess I don't use regular solid body guitars, except this one other guitar that I'll maybe do a video on later. So from the headstock, I've changed the tuners to locking tuners, just because I thought the string changes would be faster and the ratio is better on this, and because I kept on the old Korean tuners, or Chinese, or whatever they were. I used to break strings a lot, especially the first string, since the tuning that I'm playing in, I keep this one in the B, F sharp, B, F sharp tuning. So it's all the strings are F sharp, B, F sharp, B, F sharp, B. And since this string goes a whole step higher, no matter what the gauge, it was always breaking here, and unfortunately it's still fucking pricked myself. Oh. And unfortunately it's still breaking at times, but nonetheless, I mean the string changes are faster with the tuners. They did add some weight, and I don't really know if they added sustain or not. I wasn't really concentrated on that. But one of the first mods that I did to this guitar was to have the neck reshaped, because at least on this guitar, on this specific model, all of the necks that I've tried were like kind of flat, kind of flattish in the back, and then the shoulders were very, very pronounced. So I don't know if you can see, you probably won't see it here, but now it's a little bit better. I had a friend of mine do the refinishing thing, kind of shave off a little bit of wood over here just to have a different, I guess a softer angle, because it was just like poking out too much like this. So whenever I would play it, I would have a feeling that like it was pushing back against my thumb, and then just like, I'm a thumb over player, so it was kind of difficult to play. It's not a huge neck, that's the thing. Like it's not a big neck, but nevertheless, to me, a shape of a neck is very important. So he had that, like he stripped it and reshaped it a little bit. I don't think we did the thickness. We didn't touch the thickness, like the front to back. It was just like the base part of the neck, and then he refinished the whole neck in nitro. So he managed to save the logo and paint around it, so he matched the colors quite well. You can see some discoloration here from me keeping the capo. Okay, so it's got 21 frets. The frets are, I guess, in decent shape, considering how old this guitar is. But this is my third Danelectro. This is the first one that I bought. I have two other ones, a 63 and a Hodad, or it's supposed to be solid body, like a Mosrite reverse one. But it's actually some sort of like compressed plastic or plywood. I don't know. It's very light. But what I like about these guitars is like they're very, very light. They're like under 3 kilos, which is excellent, excellent. So the fretboard radius is 14 inches. The nut here is made of aluminum or some sort of like iron or steel, something like that. It has a little bolt here. I don't know if you can see this. See under my finger. So it's very easy to take it off. I've never taken it off. There's 21 frets. If you're buying this guitar just to like have a regular kind of guitar, so you can, you know, do your regular playing, which I don't do. I do open tunings mostly. The accessibility is not really that good here because the whole heel is this much into the, takes this whole part of the neck. And generally it's a very, I'd say a one-trick pony guitar. You know, it has this certain sound and it does this sound the best, the Danelectro sound. Everything else, you know, gets something else. The whole guitar, this is a plywood frame, so the frame goes around the body. There's, you know, here they taped it off with some sort of, I don't know what the material, what kind of material, some sort of vinyl tape. And basically the only portion of the body where you actually have a piece of wood, which is also plywood, is underneath the bridge. Everything else is hollow. This is why it's so light. I like the newer bridge because you at least get to intonate a little bit. After 13 years, the bridge kind of went concave on me this way, you know, so because of the tension of the strings. But you have individual saddle screws, so you can compensate for that. I don't think that's a big problem. I keep the bridge all the way down. The back part is all the way down touching, so I get a good angle as best as I can. And I set up my, even for slide, even for everything, you know, I use 10s and then I replace the first string, the high E string I replace, wait, sorry, like this. The high E string I replace, on this particular tuning I replace it with an 11 or a 12. I think I tried a 12 and then it kind of snapped and broke. Yeah, I switched out the knobs. This one has, I don't know if I changed the pots on this one. Maybe I have. I put CTS pots on this one and the switch is regular. The bridge position is just a regular lipstick pickup, which is, you know, people ask like, oh, what are the screws for in the back? And the screws in the back are for adjusting the height of the pickups, which is kind of clever and cool. No back plate, or sorry, neck plate. Yeah, I painted this. I mean, they were cheap guitars back then in mid 2000s, so it was kind of like they were accessible to me, and I always wanted a Danelectro. Now I have too many of them. Yeah, okay, so the pickups are interesting because as far as I've seen on most of these Danelectros, the bridge is bridge and neck is neck, you know, but the middle one is somehow wired in series, and this is a stock Chinese switch, so I don't know, and I like it. You get this humbucker sound, and it's hum canceling. You get this humbucker sound, which is sometimes for some overdrive pedals it can be too much input, too much, you know, too much saturation for the input of the pedal. But you can work it out, you know, just reducing the gain. And what's really funny is like I put a treble bleed on the volume pot, but these two are very, very interactive. These two pots, the tone pot and the volume pot. They don't, I don't know why, but they don't, especially in the serious position, they don't act like a regular tone pot and a regular volume pot. So see, so from 10 to 3, it's like the taper is okay, and then from 3 to 1, 4 to 1 is, and it is a CTS pot. It's a quality pot. And then here, there's very little travel. Yeah, very little travel. It's kind of weird. It's like 1, 2, 3. The first portion of darkness. Then all of a sudden, like 3, 2, 1, you know, and then you have, I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but it's cool. Like you can get some really nasty sound. This is all the way up. So this is wide open. When the tone pot is down and the volume pot is all the way up, you get this sort of a preset darker overdriven tone. Then I just go from 10 to 8.5 and I get the clarity back again. And if I roll this up again, sort of like the TBX tone control on the Fender. I don't know if you remember that, where he had a notch in the middle position. And it just like lets a little bit of gain come through also. Just the tone pot. So sometimes you would think that this is sort of like a volume, and then sometimes it's a volume and the tone. And this could be a preset. Unless you roll it all the way down. So to sum it up, I think I would have to say that this is like a preset knob in a way that it influences the way the volume will clean up, whether the taper for the cleanup will be big or small. to try it live, you know, find one of these and try it. It's quite interesting. Yeah, so I've changed the tuners. I've kept on this one. I've kept the pickup stock. I painted this just by hand, just because I got tired of the white. This being white, I might paint it something else. The Partisan Star, of course, my legacy, family legacy. Just random stickers. I've gigged with this a lot, and I never use a case for it. I always use gig bags because my car is small, so cases wouldn't fit together with 2 amps. And I have to say that they're very stable guitars. The necks are, you know, once you set them, you forget them. Oh yeah, the neck doesn't have, as you've seen before, it doesn't have the truss rod screw here, and it doesn't have the truss rod adjustment here, so you have to pull the neck off. But once you get it there, like once, I mean, I would, on this guitar I would go from 11s, 49, 52, back to 10s, with this string being thicker. I always put, because I play slide, and I always want a bit more volume from the first string. And this one and the 63 just held up. They hold up really well. There's absolutely no problem. What I don't like about these guitars is, like, when you put them under a microscope and you record with them, especially like clean tones and like really like barely crunchy kind of tones, you realize that the attack of the note is very loud, and then the decay is very fast. So it's like, it doesn't have that compression. Sorry. It doesn't have that compression that you get from a solid body, a very good solid body instrument. But you know, this was, I think, like 200 euros with a gig bag, so I'm not really complaining. What I love about it is that it's light. I wish all guitars were light as this, like up to, I think this one is 2, after I put the locking tuners, this one is 2 kilos, 2.8 kilos, or 2.9. It's not over 3 kilos, so I love it. Well, there you go. Thank you for watching, and I'll do a review of the next one, the next Danelectro.